Outside the store burst into spontaneous applause, and although she made several modest gestures begging them to stop, Penelope Janice clearly loved soaking up all of the adoration. Donna, a heavy-set Sherman's bookstore employee who was known for wearing thick wool sweaters even in the dog days of summer because she was cold all the time, flew out the door to greet the VIP guest and then ushered her inside the store with all the fanfare she could muster. "Hello, everyone. I'm so glad you could make it," Penelope cooed, as the doting fans inside the store followed the leads of the less fortunate ones, still standing outside, and enthusiastically broke into more applause. "She looks even prettier in person," Martha gushed, clapping her hands so hard her palms started turning red. Donna whisked Penelope down the aisle to the back of the store, where her table, pens, and stacks of books awaited. After a few minutes of glad-handing all of the Sherman's bookstore staff, Penelope plopped down in her leather chair that had been wheeled out from the back office just for this special occasion. She waved over the first person in line to get her book personally autographed. Hayley had secretly hoped that she might get the chance to have a brief chat with Penelope while having her book signed, mostly because she wanted to tell her just how much she enjoyed her books and TV show. But gatekeeper Donna kept the chatter between the author and her devoted readers to a minimum by shooing them away the second Penelope handed their book back to them with a bright smile. It took less than 5 minutes before Hayley found herself standing before her culinary idol. She clutched her copy of Making Magic Out of Leftovers to her chest and stared at the attractive woman with the Lucille Ball hair color. Hayley was at a complete loss for words, a rare occurrence, by the way. "Would you like me to sign your book?" Penelope asked politely, as Hayley noticed her lipstick matched her hair perfectly. Martha had to nudge Hayley in order to snap her out of her trance. "Oh, yes, sorry," Hayley laughed, shaking her head. "Just make it out to Hayley. That's Hayley with a Y. I mean, in the middle. Everyone knows Hayley has a Y at the end. Although I did go to summer camp when I was a kid with a girl who spelled it with 2 E's at the end, Haillee, but that's rare." "Could you please just hand her your book, Hayley, so she can sign it?" Donna barked, quickly losing patience. "Gosh, I'm just a bundle of nerves. I guess I never thought I would ever meet you in person," Hayley said. She handed Penelope the book and watched her start to write her name on the title page inside the front cover, but then she stopped and looked up at Hayley. "Hayley? As in Hayley Powell?" "Yes, that's right," Hayley said, incredulous. How could this woman possibly know who she was? "As in Hayley Powell, who writes the Island Food and Spirits column I read every week in the local paper?" "Yes," Hayley said. "I'm such a huge fan," Penelope yelped. Martha dropped her book on the floor in shock. "You know my column?" Hayley asked, her mouth agape. "Of course I do. You forget I live here during the summer. I like to keep up with all the local news. I stumbled across you a few years ago, and I have to say I've been hooked on your column ever since. I also must confess I've lifted a few of your recipe ideas for my show, but please don't sue me." "No, of course not. I'm flattered," Hayley cried, trying to remain calm and not dance around the store in a frenzied, euphoric state. Hayley knew a few notable people who spent the summer months on the island and were aware of her column. There was the late Olivia Redmond, a billionaire bacon heiress, and also Rhonda Franklin, the famous daytime TV hostess of The Chat, who was an unabashed fan. And there were also more than a few locals who claimed Martha Stewart, a summer resident who bought the old Ford estate in Seal Harbor, was vaguely aware of her, but Hayley had never encountered her in person. But Penelope Janice, sitting right in front of her with a big toothy grin on her face, announcing her devotion to Hayley's obscure small-town musings, this was a whole other level. "I've been dying to meet you and talk to you," Penelope said, reaching out and taking Hayley's hand to shake it, since Hayley was too dumbfounded to offer it herself. "It's such a pleasure to meet you." "Mrs. Janice, we have a lot of people waiting in line to get their books signed," Donna said softly but firmly. "Of course, I understand," Penelope said, nodding. She scribbled a quick note in Hayley's book and handed it back to her. Hayley stared at it, still unable to comprehend the idea of her being an